Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. I'm Audrey, a former paralegal, current stay-at-home mom, lifelong lover of true crime. The cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. With all that being said, grab your hot Cheetos and let's get started on today's case. Her name was Josefa Loaiza Segovia, yet the press had the utter audacity to call her the, quote, Mexican women, unquote. California officially became a state on September 9th of 1850. It was the peak of what is now known as the gold rush, and women were second in value after gold, of course. The 4th of July celebrations of that next July were the talk of the town. Californians were excited to celebrate freedom even more now. Like I said, it was the peak of the gold rush, and the town of Downeyville was about to witness the alleged first and only lynching of a woman in California history. Josefa's case is a prime example of the violence against a person due to their race and gender. Some sources say that the drunk men just happened to stumble across Jose and Josefa's adobe home while walking along Main Street. Others say that Jose and Josefa worked at a local bar. Jose was Josefa's partner. Josefa was already a pro at dealing with rowdy customers, one of which was a Caucasian man named Frederick Cannon. That night, on July 4th of 1851, Frederick Cannon broke into Josefa's home after the bangs on her door were ignored. The next day, July 5th of 1851, Frederick Cannon and his buddies followed Josefa and her partner, Jose Segovia, to their home and started yelling insults at them. Josefa about had it with this man. He had been harassing her for months, days at this point, the night before he even went inside her home and tried to rape her. Due to Josefa's constant turning him down, Frederick had the audacity to call her a whore. As he was on former Mexican land, he had picked up some Spanish. His favorite word to use in this situation was to call her a puta. As 25-year-old Josefa feared not only for her life, but for the life of her unborn child and her partner's life, Josefa was in her first trimester of pregnancy, where it was still too soon for her to show. Josefa defended herself and her family with the knife she carried for protection and stabbed Frederick to death right in the heart. Fury overcame what you could only call a mob of Anglo-American men who decided amongst themselves to bring Josefa to justice and declared her guilty right then and there. A man named John Rose, a local rancher, took it upon himself to preside over the case as the judge. People tried to help Josefa as they knew her to be a good neighbor and friend. Her partner Jose was forced out of town immediately. The Caucasian mob sentenced Josefa to death by hanging. She was brought to the Jersey Bridge on the Yuba River, where it was reported that she said "Adios, señores," before jumping off with the noose around her neck on her own. Historical records of lynching have only been categorized by either black or white victims. The box for Hispanic or Latino was not an option, therefore inadvertently erasing the history of violence against Mexicans. So while Josefa is the only recorded woman in California to have been lynched, I absolutely think without a shadow of a doubt that there are more, especially when you put into consideration the racial injustice and hate that Black, Mexican, Asian, Indian, and any other people with any degree of color have faced since the beginning of time. People who have the proclivity to believe that white people can do no wrong believe that Frederick returned to Josefa's home on July 5th to apologize for his behavior. Others, myself included, who have seen the works of real-life cucuys and lloronas of the world, much like Frederick, believe he returned to finish what he started. This so-called jury of Frederick's exact peers were obviously biased and would not take into consideration a doctor's testimony after he examined Josefa and was against the hanging due to her pregnancy. A lawyer named Mr. Thayer from Nevada saw the spectacle as it was happening and tried to help Josefa. Not only did Josefa not receive a fair trial, but her life was taken because she was a woman, and most obviously because she was Mexican. It is said that before her famous Adios Señores jumped to her death, Josefa said something along the lines of, I would do the same again if I was so provoked, before placing the rope around her neck.